Today, we are diving into a really powerful teaching from the Pali Canon. It's called the Kāyagatāsatisutta, and it's basically an ancient guide to a practice that promises to totally transform your mind. And it does this by focusing on the one thing that's with us every single moment of our lives, our body. So the story opens with this incredible scene. Imagine a group of monks all gathered together and they are just buzzing. They're talking about something the Buddha taught them, and they're just floored, saying over and over, "It's amazing, it's astounding." You can almost feel the energy, right? They've clearly stumbled upon something life-changing. And that, of course, makes you wonder, what on earth were they so excited about? I mean, what kind of practice could get such a huge reaction from people who are already seasoned spiritual practitioners? Well, the Buddha overhears them, and he decides to lay the whole thing out for us, step by step. And that practice is called Kāyagatāsati. So let's just break that Pali word down. Kaya, that's body. Gata means gone to or directed towards. And sati is mindfulness. So you put it all together and you get this idea of mindfulness that is completely immersed in the body. We're not talking about a quick check-in here. This is a deep, continuous, and all-encompassing awareness. Now, here's what's so cool about this. You'd think a practice this powerful would start with some really complex, abstract idea, right? Nope. The Buddha grounds this whole thing in the most basic, universal experiences we all share just by having a body. The very first instruction is just to know your breath. That's it. You're not trying to control it. You're not judging it as good or bad. You just know. Okay, I'm breathing in a long breath, or, that was a short out-breath. It's so simple. But this is the anchor point. It pulls your awareness right back into the physical reality of the present moment. And from the breath, it expands out into everything you do. This isn't just a practice for when you're sitting on a meditation cushion. It's for your whole life. You bring this awareness to every posture. So when you're walking, you just know, I'm walking. When you're standing, you know, I'm standing. The whole idea is to cultivate this continuous, unbroken stream of awareness about what your body is doing. Okay, so once you have that foundation of simple awareness, the practice starts to build. It moves into a much deeper, more analytical investigation of the body itself. And this is where things get really interesting, because it starts to challenge all our usual ideas about who we are. The next step is to mentally, dissect the body into its 32 parts. From the hair of the head to the nails, the teeth, the skin, all the organs inside. Now, I know that might sound a little morbid, but that's not the point at all. The goal is to see the body for what it actually is, a collection of components. And when you see it that way, it helps loosen that deep-seated belief that this body is me. And then the analysis goes even deeper. The practice asks us to see our body as just a temporary mashup of the 4 great elements. All the solid bits, bones, teeth, that's the earth element. All the liquids, blood, saliva, that's the water element. Our body heat, that's the fire element. And all the movement, like our breath, that's the wind element. You start to see that you're literally made of the same stuff as the entire world around you. All right, now for the most direct and, let's be honest, intense contemplation of them all, visualizing the body after death. The idea is to imagine the body bloating, being eaten by animals, becoming a skeleton, and eventually just crumbling into dust. And the crucial part is to then turn that reflection inward. This body of mine is exactly the same. It's headed for the same end. It's a really powerful way to get the reality of impermanence on a gut level. So, after all these pretty intense analytical practices, what's the result? Why would anyone do this? Well, the text is crystal clear on this point. This isn't just some kind of intellectual game. It fundamentally forges a resilient, unshakable mind. And the Buddha uses this brilliant simile to explain it. He says, a mind without this bodily awareness is like throwing a heavy stone into wet clay. It just sinks right in. Any negative state, which is what the figure Mara represents here, can just grab hold. But the trained mind, it's like throwing a light little ball of thread against a solid wooden plank. It just bounces right off. It's nimble, it's resilient, it's totally unaffected. He gives us another amazing image too. The mind that lacks this practice is like a dry piece of wood. It's just waiting to burst into flames at the tiniest spark of anger or greed or fear. But the mind that has really developed Kāyagatāsati is like a wet, sappy log. You can try to set it on fire, but it just won't catch. It has this incredible inherent coolness and stability. And if that kind of mental resilience wasn't enough of a payoff, the Buddha goes on to spell out the rewards explicitly. He doesn't leave you guessing. He details 10 specific, powerful benefits that come from mastering this practice. That's right, 10 great benefits, or anisamsa in Pali. This is the explicit promise of the practice. It's this comprehensive list that covers everything from your day-to-day well-being all the way to the highest goals of the spiritual path. And what's so amazing is the sheer range of these benefits. On a really practical level, you become able to handle hardship, like heat, cold, hunger, with real ease. You overcome fear and anxiety. And then on a much deeper level, this practice becomes the gateway to profound meditative states, called jhana, which in turn leads directly to deep insight and ultimately to the complete liberation of the mind. So what we're left with is this ancient but incredibly relevant roadmap. It starts with something as simple as just noticing your breath. And it ends with a mind that's resilient, insightful, and totally free. And that leaves us with the final, very personal question. What could you discover by paying closer attention to your body?